Hey everybody, welcome to A Pinch of Salt, just a midweek pick-me-up, a little thought we wanted to share with you. But before we get to the thought, we're going to share a short video because it was Aspen's birthday this last weekend, the big 18. Yes, she is now officially an adult.
3 adults living in this house. How come I didn't think of that before?
It is very frightening.
Oh my, 3 adults.
3 legal adults.
Yeah, that means like if we move into another house, like another rental house, then
she has to sign as a legal adult person living there.
She has to fill out an actual application.
And if we move into the retirement home, she can't go with us because she's too old now.
Oh, but she's still too young. Like we can't move into over 55 or something like that.
No, we can't. We can't move into an over 55 place.
No, we can't because we're not old enough for that.
We're not old enough yet.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be.
Or
So anyway,
wouldn't want to lie to the whole world. But.
The truth shall set you free.
Yes.
Anyway, so we had a party, and just a short little clip. It was a party to be remembered, and we'll start you off with a little bit of video clip to show you sort of what happened. Okay, so that's not all the video. There's more to the story, and we will show you that video later on Sabbath.
Yeah, that's definitely not the end. When I started videoing it, you don't know when it's going to end, right?
Well, you have no idea what's going to actually take place or happen.
Yeah, and so it seemed like it was the end, and so I stopped.
But wait, there was more.
Yeah, stopped the video, and then I was like, oh, okay, and so I started videoing some more. And then there was the end of that one. Yeah. And then I actually did a little third video of them singing happy birthday to her and stuff like that. Yeah. So
there's just no telling when the insanity is going to end when I'm involved. So
yes, it is
just
so
keep
true.
rolling because more is coming anyway.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we did get some good thoughts out of the whole thing.
Yes.
So good thoughts coming.
So. While we cannot predict the future, God can. So Matthew 7:3-5, why do you look at the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, and behold, the log is in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. And right there is where you have Jesus predicting the future. And so we know that is true, right? Because Jesus is the one who said it. And so he knows that if we get the log out of our own eye, that we will certainly
be able to see clearly.
And
one of the things is also being a little tongue-in-cheek there. Like, get the log out of your own eye, and then you can take the speck out of your brother, knowing very well that your perspective on the speck in your brother's eye is going to change.
Right, absolutely. So once we get the log out of our own eye, we will see clearly because as Peter says in 1 Peter 4:8, and above all things with fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins.
And I actually remember in high school, or maybe it was earlier than high school, but I had a teacher, I think it was a teacher or Sabbath school teacher, and they were actually using this as a justification for being able to make judgments on other people, because he was like, I have removed, really he did say that, I've removed the log in my life, I've been able to remove these things, so therefore I am qualified to tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yes, well the whole thing is, once that log is actually gone, we will be seeing with the eyes of love rather than self-interest. And so if you remember, we talked, I don't know, months ago by now, but about how to love, and The thing is, when we judge other people, we're judging whether or not they're worthy of our love. And, when Jesus comes in the clouds of heaven, and, he's not going to ask you, basically, did your neighbor mow the grass? And if he didn't, what would you like me to do about that? That is not going to be the question. He's not going to be asking our advice in judging.
Yeah, and if I can find this little cartoon I saw about, it's a wife telling a husband, hey, it's time to go to bed, and he's on the computer going, I can't come to bed yet. There's too many people still wrong on the internet I have to correct. And we were talking about earlier, it was like, Jesus isn't going to come back and say, that evangelism program I gave you about correcting people on the internet, how did that go? How many people did you convert,
Yeah.
How many people did you say, you're wrong, I'm right? Yeah, not going to be the question.
No, the question is going to be, did you love your neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, of course, is seen there in where Jesus was talking about the separating the sheep from the goats, and did you feed the people in prison or visit and all this kind of stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And so it was kind of like Jesus saying, if you work on your own stuff, in the process of working on your own stuff and dealing with your own things, it's going to change your perspective on how you see everybody else around you. It kind of brings you to a place of looking with more love and grace and forgiveness than judgment.
And recognizing that we really don't do it ourselves. We aren't the one removing the log in our eye. It's the relationship that we have with Jesus. And finally we see that it is Jesus who is worthy of our worship, rather than making ourselves objects of our own worship.
Yeah, so it's one of those, it's that concept of, I see how much God has had to forgive me of and work with me on. I can certainly forgive everybody around me because how much mercy I've gotten from God, I can give to others. So, all right, anyway, so short little, pinch of salt for the midweek. And like I say, we promise more video from the birthday celebration this Sabbath, and we'll see you then.